It's this grand bargain that we have in Alberta. You can't say no to an oil company that wants to drill on your land. In exchange, you'll be made whole with these payments. Works good in principle unless the payments stop coming. And then they're also assuming that these companies are going to come in and clean them up. You've got active well drilling, you've got pumping going on. This can spill, this can leach into the ground, this can contaminate the soil. This can leave your land far worse off than it was when they first got there. There is no transparency in terms of what the regulator is and is not doing. When you get a case like this, where you can see Mega transferred all of these wells, despite the fact that they're in financial survival mode, despite the fact that they owed over $20,000 in municipal taxes to Sturgeon County, which is supposed to prevent a transfer from happening, that transfer still went ahead. We continuously see examples like a Mega Energy in this province that raise serious questions.
The Alberta Girl says the AER is not a real regulator. Calling them a regulator is like calling Tony Soprano a police officer.
The municipalities really can't go after these taxes. I mean, they're owed $254 million in unpaid taxes by oil and gas companies. That's in addition to $200 million that's been completely written off by these municipalities, never to be collected. This is simply property taxes, the taxes that you would pay on your house. These companies, enough of them, are not paying them. Like the rural municipalities of Alberta says $100 million of the outstanding amount is owed by companies that are still operating, 201 of them. And then the environmental liabilities on top of that, I mean, that's a whole other ball of wax, and that's in the billions. They've got almost no security on hand, and it's basically a good faith exercise that these companies are going to clean up in the end.
Vitor Marciano, who many people will know is a longtime political staffer, political strategist, political operative, chief of staff to Brian Jean, Alberta's energy minister. And then Dave Yeager, who authored the mature asset strategy. And he showed up at a meeting. Was it Warburg?
He was basically jeered at throughout the entire presentation. He was caught up in misinformation that he had in his presentation. I don't think he anticipated that some of the surface rights groups that he said were involved in consultations would be there. They stood up and said we were not. He said that the rural municipalities of Alberta was there from day one, talking about some of these municipal tax issues. Their policy guys stood up and said they were not, that they hated the mature asset strategy and didn't want to have anything to do with it.
And then you've got Yeager, the author of the report, quote, "I think I can say in this town, I now refer to this as the giant stinking pile of shit. This is a mess," he said. "It has always been a mess."
The economics aren't in place to sort of fulfill the grand bargain with Albertans of cleanup, of lease payments, of tax payments.